So, for the first time in about a week, I'm back with a review of a movie I haven't seen before. And we start off with the 2009 ball of confusion that is Mr. Nobody. So, I thought we had a deal, Canada. I reviewed Sentinel and Relic Hunter. I thought we were friends. Why'd you have to put this movie on me? What the hell? The movie focuses around a guy who's also a kid, who's also a 15-year-old, who's also Jared Leto, named Nemo Nobody. In the future, he is 118 years old and about to die. He is the only mortal left on Earth. Everyone else has pseudo-immortality. A reporter breaks into his hospital room and interviews him to ask him about his life. And it turns out his life is pretty darn interesting. Because before he was born, he was a baby in heaven with the knowledge of everything that's going to happen in the world. And angels touch babies' mouths and take away their knowledge. But he was skipped, so he is able to live all of his possible lifelines. The bulk of these lifelines focus around three women, Anna, Elise, and Jane. And thankfully, for good casting, they look nothing alike. One is blonde, one is brunette, and one is Asian. I can't tell you how many movies I've seen where I spend half the freaking movie trying to figure out which character is which because people look so much alike and don't even have different hairstyles, let alone hair color. Some of these lifelines he dies, some of them he's in a coma, some of them he ends up happily ever after with a wife and kids, sometimes he ends up in a horrible relationship with a wife and kids, sometimes he just basically gives up on life and starts flipping a coin to make decisions. But it all starts off, all the tree branches start off with him as an 8-year-old trying to decide whether to go with his mother and father after they split. The butterfly effect is a big deal in this. One of the choices when between his mom and dad, his shoe falls off because quality control inspector didn't check his shoelace and the kid's shoe falls off. Also, his parents meet through butterfly effect the same way Clara's parents meet in Doctor Who with a leaf falling on the ground in between the two of them. There's several other instances like that in this movie. Overall, though, it's really confusing, but it's still interesting. There's some of this pseudo-dream stuff that I kind of wish had been left out of the movie because it's just not interesting. The part that they want you to be interested in just didn't interest me at all. He has these dream sequences where he's wearing all plaid and the buildings around him are being made and created and some things are in backwards order. And yeah, I mean, it's okay, but I just wasn't interested in it. There's a lot of connections to other movies in this. People say Inception, but I don't see it just because you see the world being built. But that was done in a Christopher Titus episode of Twilight Zone 10 years earlier. It's been done in other things. The butterfly effect thing with the leaf was done later in Doctor Who, and it was done before. And there's also a Harold and Maude reference where the kid keeps faking his death and mom doesn't care. The closest thing I can come to really is a movie called The Nines, where Ryan Reynolds is basically a god that keeps recreating Earth in hopes that he will end up with a relationship with Melissa McCarthy. And yes, that is a real fucking movie. There is some of this like pseudo dream sequence stuff that I didn't really get. He's wearing all plaid, so is almost everyone in the city. Things are moving backwards instead of forwards. That's kind of an important thing in the movie, but not enough for these long sequences that just don't add enough and didn't hold my attention. Overall, well, this movie is 2.5 hours long. Let's start with that. It is a ball of fucking confusion. The ending statement of what is going on, I don't really care for. I don't like the finale of explanation. I know I always say I don't really like when they don't tell you what's going on, but the telling you what's going on kinda ruins this one. Overall, though, it's a really interesting build-up. I know I shouldn't like this movie. This movie is everything I fucking hate in movies. But I guess I don't know. I just liked it. It was interesting, and I wanted to see where his storylines were going. And I wanted to see whether Mr. Nobody as a 118-year-old died or not, because the city is having a vote on whether to force him to live forever or to allow him to die. And I care what's happening with that, and I care about his storylines, and I just liked it. I shouldn't, but I did. This review got really long. I cut 1.5 minutes out of it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, I shall try to do better next time.